Today, I'm going to show you an alternative way to run webinars and get the most bang out of your time and out of your money. Okay, this is what the biggest players in the market are doing right now, while everyone and their moms and their aunts are running the classic webinar funnel or a book call funnel. Okay, and if you know anything about offers and markets, you know that the biggest advantage you can have is to zig when everyone is zagging, or zagging when everyone is zigging. Okay, so now in every area of life there are trends that move like pendulums. Okay, so in fashion, in music, there are trends that are pendulums. In your marketing is not different. Okay, so right now the webinar trend is kind of reaching a crashing point. Okay, so you can either wait for that crash to happen, or you can use that to your advantage. Okay, webinars are the most overused funnels in the market right now. Okay, so if you are in one of the big three niches, so health, wealth, and relationships, chances are that your lead has been pitched on a webinar before. Okay, and the problem is not that your leads have watched a webinar or a webinar per se. Okay, the problem is that it is a trend right now. Okay, so the thing that everyone is defaulting to is webinars, which means most beginners are defaulting to webinars, which means that there is more webinars, which means also that there is also bad webinars that your lead are going through. So let's say 1% of webinars are bad. If the amount of webinars happening increases, the amount of bad webinars also increase. Okay, so, and of course, I'm not saying that everyone that's running webinars are bad marketers. Okay, of course not. I'm just saying that there is higher chances that someone bad is running a webinar right now. Okay, so as you can see here, it's just that good operators, good copywriters made a lot of money by running good webinars. Then people looked at that and said, okay, everyone, let's start running webinars. And everyone started running webinars and flooding the market with bad webinars, and therefore kind of saturating how effective a webinar could be. Okay, you can still make money with webinars, of course. It's just not that effective because everyone is running them. Again, it's a pendulum. Sometimes it goes all the way to saturated and everyone is running. Then sometimes passes and no one is running. Not at least the mass market. Now, in practice, that means that your cost per lead will increase, your show rates will be low, and the leads that do show up will show up with their guards up, which translates to the people in the chat basically bullying the experts. Okay, so as you can see here. Now, let's talk about free leaks in the traditional webinar. So the first leak is that you are paying for people that are never going to attend. Okay, so let's look at practical numbers. People say that 30% of people are going to show up, only 30%. So let's say you spend $10 to get an opt-in, and only 30% of your leads actually show up to the normal webinar. Okay, which is crazy. It means that if you're spending like $15,000 to get people on your webinar, you're just burning $10,000 on people that are never going to show up. Okay, so yeah, you're just burning money. Now, the leak number two is that you are training your pixel on wrong people, on bad data. Okay, because let's say you have 30% show up rate. That means that 2 out of 3 people that are opting are not going to show up. So if you optimize your pixel around those opt-ins, you are feeding it more bad data than good data, okay? Which makes everything worse because pixel optimization should create a positive snowball effect, okay? And what I mean by positive snowball effect is that with time, you're going to get more data, and that data is going to help you get even more data because you're going to have even better data, okay? And with volume, that data is getting optimized, okay? So the traffic just gets better and better, you get more volume and better volume. Now, if most of the people are bad, that means you're just scaling on bad data. So you're just going to get more volume of bad people in general, okay? Now, third leak is going to be that wrong, bad, unqualified leads are going to poison the rest of the good leads. So let's say you run the webinar, but now you need to worry about people in the chat that are spamming, that you're just another cost seller, or saying anything else that might affect the buying intent of the few qualified leads inside the room. Okay, qualified leads you pay to acquire, as you can see here. Okay, so you're just burning $2 out of $3 that you invest, and the people who do show up, you have annoying people that are destroying the buying intent of the leads you managed to acquire. Okay, so is the answer to just stop running webinars? Of course, no. Okay, every funnel has its place. Like I said, I'm not here to sell you that the magic solution to every problem that you have right now when scaling or when running ads is to run this, okay? If you think that exists in the first place, you're probably just too stupid to be watching this video, okay? This is not a secret button that turns your ad account into a money printing machine, okay? This is about finding the opportunities that give you the best return on your money, time, and effort, okay? And like I said, you have an unfair advantage when you're zagging instead of zigging with everyone else, okay? Now, that advantage of zagging instead of zigging means that you're going to get cheaper leads, you're going to get more clients for less ad spend, okay? You're going to get better engagement and room for massive growth, okay? Because it's something that not a lot of people are running, so there is more room for growth there. The funnel that I'm going to show you, or better yet, the type of webinar I'm going to show you is one of the most powerful systems for acquiring clients from paid traffic, okay? And this is especially true if you're like in a very saturated market like real estate, trading, dating, biz up, pain management, sports, fitness, sleep coaching, okay? Now, this is not for someone who's still trying to figure out whether their offer is going to work or not. So if you don't have proof, if you can't fulfill, and most importantly, if you don't know exactly what your ICP wants, this might not be for you, okay? Because you can't be just brain dead running this strategy, okay? There is more moving parts than a webinar, which is great because it means the barrier of entry is harder to get through, okay? Which means more room for growth. This is not like a normal webinar where you're just going to pour money into ads for a week and then you're betting all your money into one day to work out, okay? Because I've seen coaches who invest like 10, 20, $50,000 into ads, and they on the day of the webinar they have a connection problem or something happens or there is a file that's missing or a team, or worse, this is the worst, or a team member did something wrong and that fucks the day and now your money is gone, okay? Now, with this funnel, the goal is to recover as much of the ad spend as fast as possible without relying on anything else, okay, to work. So let's say internet explodes and you can't run the webinar, at least you have your money back. And I'm not talking about VIP tickets, okay, because even if you sell something like VIP tickets to recover the ad spend upfront, if the webinar fails, if the internet explodes, good luck dealing with complaints and dealing with the freaking FTC on your ass, okay? Now, imagine instead of carrying all of that risk and pressure into the webinar day, the funnel already pays for your ads upfront. You don't need to deliver anything else, and you are filtering your audience before you go live. So inside the webinar, you just have qualified people there. Okay, this is 10 times better than something like a VIP funnel. Okay, because the VIP, someone that's buying your VIP, they just want good access to your webinar. Okay, he's not buying a product. Okay, now, what do you get from this? First, you're going to recover your ad spend faster, okay? And when the front end actually allows you to do so, you can have cash coming back on the same day instead of just waiting for the webinar to start, okay? That means you can make scaling decisions faster with less risk because you know what it costs to acquire a buyer and how much that how much that buyer is going to give back on cash, okay? Now, second, you're going to fill your Zoom room with just buyers, people who buy from you, okay? You're not going to get cheap leads. You're not going to get bums who are not there to buy anything. You're just going to get people who are genuine, interested in your offer, okay, on your offer. Now, you're going to, and this is the best one, is that you are going to be dealing with happy clients, okay? Because with a VIP ticket, there is no fulfillment before the webinar, which means they paid for even better access, which means their quads are even up. They have higher expectations for your VIP access. So when you get on a webinar and you're not just delivering value all the time, they might complain. Okay, now with this type of webinar, with an AscendBinar, the buyer is going to receive a real product and get a real win as soon as they buy the product. Okay, so they're going to be a happy client. And instead of just bad leads who are poisoning the minds of the leads, the few good leads you have in the room, you have the opposite because the people who are taking action on the product are going to create energy. They are going to ask better questions. They're going to engage with the content and they're going to share the wins and they're going to show the rest of the room that implementation is possible. So let's say you didn't even get a quick win, but someone in the chat did. That person can go on, talk about their win, and that's going to inspire the lead, okay, even though they didn't get a quick win from the product. Now, this is going to create three positive snowballs. A money snowball because the front end revenue is going to fund your traffic and you'll be able to scale faster. A data snowball because you're optimizing around buyers, very qualified buyers. So, your pix optimization just gets better and better and better. And most importantly, you get a room energy snowball because you're going to have engaged buyers in the room that are going to create momentum in the other uh, in the other leads in the room. Okay, and I also add here like a brand snowball because even people who didn't ascend, maybe they didn't have the money, they can leave the webinar feeling fulfilled. Okay, because they can stay inside your brands, engage with your content, refer people to you, and just grow your brands without you having to pay for acquiring them again. Okay, so this is how powerful an AscendBinar is. So how do you do this? How do you get paid to acquire buyers, improve the room, and reduce risk all at the same time? Okay, I call this an AscendBinar. So ascension and webinar. Okay, an AscendBinar is going to be just a buyer-only masterclass, and you're going to position as onboarding for a front-end offer. That in that call you're going to help people fulfill the product they bought, and you're going to give them a quick win, and then ascend the people to your core offer. Okay, so instead of just running ads to collect our email, you're going to run ads to acquire a customer as soon as possible. Okay, and then they're going to get a product. That product is going to fulfill them on a quick win. Okay, not your high ticket not your high ticket promise, but a small win. Okay, part of the journey is going to fulfill on that, and as a bonus, as something that it feels like they paid for, they're going to get invited to a masterclass, to a live webinar. Okay, and it's closed just for buyers. And you inside the AscendBinar, you're going to help them use what they bought, get a result, and understand there is like more to do. There is more steps they need to take, and once they see that, you're able to direct them to your main offer. So that way, you're going to change the economic of your funnel. You're going to change the quality of the data and the energy inside your webinar room. Let's talk about how this AscendBinar works. So the first step is just to create an entry offer, a front-end offer, okay? And this is where most people actually screw up because you don't want to just get a random piece of content or video or just a module of your high ticket and just put a price tag on it and you call it a front-end offer. You actually want to focus on solving a small problem for someone that is in the journey to get their high ticket promise. Okay, so it needs to give them a clear result, and it needs to be fast to consume, it needs to be easy to consume, and it needs to show them that they actually need high tickets to move forward. Okay, if you're doing something that has no value, if you're just giving them a product that has no value, if they don't buy from you, you're baiting them, and that's going to hurt your ascension rates. Now, if you give them something that solves all the problems they have, they are not going to buy your main offer. Okay, so the sweet spot is to focus on giving them a first step. You're going to help them take the first step or show them that the first step is very easy to take. Okay, so they're going to feel more capable, they're going to feel more aware, more in the inside, like they have better information. So they have an emotional quick win and they're ready to go forward with your main offer. Now, step two is going to be to acquire buyers instead of just opt-ins. Okay, so you're going to run ads to that front-end offer, and you're not just advertising your webinar with free secrets and a mystery reveal. Okay, you are actually advertising people that you're going to sell them something. Okay, so this is a problem that I'm going to solve for you, and this is the price. There is no hidden costs, or they don't feel like they need to get on something and watch a full video to learn something. They are going to just buy from you, and we are going to be optimizing around people that buy stuff on the internet surrounding that problem. Okay, and better yet, like once they buy from you, everything that comes after they bought from you feels like fulfillment. So they are going to read more your emails, they're going to actually watch out for anything that you send them because it's going to feel like part of the fulfillment, where when you're running webinar, everything on the back end feels like just more promotion. Okay, now step three is going to actually fulfill the promise you made. Okay, so you need to help them get a quick win. So you're going to give them the product, you're going to run an audit to the product, so you give bonuses, you show them exactly what they need to do, and you help them actually take the first decision to start. So let's say your front-end project is to help them build a Shopify store. You want inside the product to help them take that action with your product and with emails. So you send them emails. Look, I saw that you didn't complete. So this is all automated, of course. I saw that you didn't complete this module. So I'm telling you, you should complete this because you'll be able to get these results, yada, yada. Okay. And this matters because happy clients actually buy again. If you make them happy, if you make them get a quick win, this win can be practical. So you give them something like they lose weight, they make money, yada, yada. Or you can give them an emotional quick win. So let's say they go through your product, they don't do anything. They just go through the product and they get clarity from the product. That's an emotional quick win, okay? Let's say they go through the product and they have hope, like, look, I'm taking action. They are going to have an emotional quick win, okay? So both are going to work. Now, step 4 is to actually bring those buyers into your AscendBinar. And you're going to position the AscendBinar as onboarding for something that they already paid for. So it's going to be closer. It's going to be close to buyers. Okay, that means it feels more exclusive and it feels like something that is a bonus. Okay, something that's private. And you need to position this as a way for them to get even more value out of the product. Okay, so let's say you do something like an audit in your low ticket, something that shows them something that's wrong in the business. The seminar is going to be how to solve that specific something. So they get even more value from the product they got. So they want to show up for it because they kind of bought that as well because it's part of the product. It feels like they paid for it. So you're spending the same amount of money. Let's say you're spending $50,000, just like I said at the beginning of the video. Imagine if you just flip that and instead you get, you spend those $15,000 into an AscendBinar fund, okay? And usually you get a CPA for $50, okay? And that $50 you get an average order value of $50 as well. So it costs you to get, it costs you $50 to get someone to buy from you. And on average, that people is going to spend $50 with you. So that breaks even, okay? So with that same $15,000, you can acquire at $50, 300 buyers, okay? And that's already going to produce $50,000 in front-end revenue. So you get your money back. Now, let's say because show-up rates are higher, let's say you have a 76% attendance rate. Okay, so from those 300 buyers, 228 actually attend the webinar. Okay, so fewer people than what would attend your normal webinar, but those are way more qualified because they spent money with you and they are consuming your product. Okay, now you are guaranteed to break even because of the front end. And even if you don't break even, let's say it costs you $65 to get a buyer and they are only spending $50, that means you just have a $15 shot fail, okay? But that's way better than spending $50 just for a lead, okay, for example, or $10 for a lead that's not going to show up and that's not going to buy from you. So let's go about how you can actually build the front-end offer. So how do you choose the front-end offer? There are a filter. There are a few filters you can go through. First filter is going to be asking yourself, does this offer attract the people that you want inside the offer? So let's say you are running a front-end offer that is like how to make your first dollar online ever, how to get out of extreme debt and poverty and make your first dollar ever. You're not going to attract people that are going to buy a high ticket. So you need to be aware of that. The type of person that has this problem, how much money does he have? Does they have? How much awareness they have? So be aware of that. Okay. Now, second is that you need to ask yourself if this solves a problem that comes before the core transformation. So you don't want to sell them a problem they don't have yet, or a problem that implies they already made the core transformation. So let's say your main offer is about helping them. Main offer is about helping them create an agency, and your product, your front end offer is about how to create an onboarding document. That doesn't fit the timeline of stuff. Okay. Now, this next filter is to ask yourself if the someone that buys that product can get something useful very quickly. That can be, like I said, emotional or tactical. So something that's very practical, like making more money, losing weight, or emotional, getting a quick win. Okay. Now, fourth, can you actually fulfill on that very easily? My recommendation would be to deliver either tools, AI tools, info product offers, so things that you don't need someone on the back end to fulfill. They can fulfill alone, because you don't want to be not you don't want to be capped by how much people can fulfill on the front end. Okay. Now the last filter is to ask yourself, uh, if they get a win from this product, will this feel like the first step towards your main offer? Okay. So let's think about an example. Let's say you have a current offer that is about body transformation. So your high ticket is that. A front end offer might be something like a metabolic baseline audit. Okay, so you track your food, movement, sleep, symptoms, and they're going to receive a diagnostic. And with that diagnostic, they can have an idea of what they need to do. And inside the offer, you tell them exactly what they need to do and how they can do that. Okay. Now, another example, a bad front end offer would be to just sell them 50 healthy recipes. Okay. That doesn't get them anywhere because, okay, they have their healthy recipes. It's not the first step. Okay. You're not dealing with anything emotional. You're attracting just people who want to buy those healthy recipes. They not exactly need to lose weight, let's say. Okay. Uh, so focus on those filters when you're trying to build your front end. Okay, you got the solution. Now you need to be able to see what stands them between them now and what they want to get. Okay, the outcome. Uh, this doesn't need to be fake. Okay, you just need to help them see the difference between where they are right now and where they want to be. Okay, and that would be the 7th step to actually show them that there is something to do. So look, you can do this yourself, but you can also do this with me, with my team, and you'll be able to get better results, faster results, and that's going to help you get to the dream outcome faster because you show them the gap, you show them that you help them take a step out of this gap so they can move forward, and that's going to help them trust you more, get their guards down, so you can actually promise them that you'll be able to help them get to the desired outcome if they actually work with you. Okay, so this is basically it. This is an Ascendbinar. This is going to be the first long form video I record. I plan to record more. I need to figure out exactly how we will be doing the recording of the screen and everything together. But this is the Ascendbinar. It's very effective. A lot of those big players on the coaching game that are running ads at scale, they are running these types of events. Okay, that are closed for buyers specifically. You can even use a live example of Alex Hormozi. Okay, he has that event when people go in there. It's, of course, it's live, it's in person, but it's the same principle. You get people who already bought from you to get on the event, and over there, he fulfills on the promise, so he answers them questions, and at the end, he probably upsells them something for a lot of money. And there are no like leads inside that room. It's just people who are qualified. Okay, that's why you get people laughing, relating to the information because you're building a room of buyers instead of just leads. Okay, so use this to run ads, especially if you're trying to start running ads to your business right now. You have a qualified business and you're trying to run ads to it. Try running an Ascendbinar if you want. Okay, you can just do all of this yourself, apply these principles, run the webinar yourself. Now, if you have an offer that's working with your organic, it's qualified, you have testimonials, you can fulfill on that offer, you have a high ticket on the back end that you can fulfill at least 20 clients per month. Okay, if you check those boxes, you can actually apply to work with us. Okay, because we are going to install and operate the entire system for you. Okay, so you're going to manage your front end offer, we're going to manage the funnel, we're going to run the ads, we're going to create that seminar for you, we're going to create the back end follow up. Okay, and when it's needed, if you can't like take sales calls at scale, you're going to install, manage, fund, okay, the entire sales team, so setter and closer. Okay, now this is not for someone who's just trying to get someone to run ads for them, because this is like full suite, white glove, and it's paid on results. Okay, so there is we only work with a couple of vouchers at a time. So if that's you, you can just click the link below and apply to work with us. You can also check out my IG so you can have more content. So apply. We will look at your offer, at your fulfillment, help you figure out if this funnel is the best for you, and if it is, we will talk about working together.